Oh, I love all the viral ads that lay it all out what's going on. The folks at Vote Vets dropped this one, and they did not hold any punches.
Donald Trump was commander-in-chief when he was trusted with our top-secret information on our military plans and on our enemies. Documents so highly classified that if they fell into the wrong hands, could risk American missions and end American lives. Documents he had no right to have once he left office. He showed them off to friends and tried to hide them when he got caught, where enemies could have easily accessed them. If I mishandled classified secrets the way Trump did, I'd be locked up in Leavenworth for life. He's been arrested and will be put on trial as he should be. But never again should Donald Trump be trusted with national security clearance. Never again should Donald Trump be in command of our armed forces. And never again should anyone serving our country in uniform have to salute a walking, talking national security threat like Donald Trump.
Damn, that's a good one, Vote Vets. The Lincoln Project dropped this one about 3 hours ago against that idiot JD Vance. We'll check this out.
A lot of moms and dads saw marriage as a basic contract, right? Like any other business deal. Once it becomes no longer good for one of the parties or both of the parties, you just dissolve it and go on to a new business relationship. And this is one of the great tricks that I think the sexual revolution pulled on the American populace, which is this idea that, like, well, okay, these marriages were fundamentally, you know, they were maybe even violent, but certainly they were unhappy. And so getting rid of them and making it easier for people to shift spouses like they change their underwear, that's going to make people happier in the long term. And what we have is a lot of very, very real family dysfunction that's making our kids unhappy.
Pretty good. Pretty good. I was checking out last night another different ad, and the white dudes for Kamala dropped this one right here. Check it out.
White dudes. So I think we're all pretty sick of hearing how much we suck. Every time you go online, it's the same story. We're the problem. And yeah, some white dudes are. Trump and all his MAGA buddies are out there making it worse, shouting nonsense in their stupid red hats and acting like they speak for us when they don't. All they've ever done is screw us over. But if you're not on the MAGA train, where do you go? Isn't it just swapping out one crappy option for another? Then it hit me. This isn't about picking teams. It's about who's got a plan that's going to make life better for me and my family. So I've been doing my own research and decided to check out Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And before you jump down my throat, they're actually talking to guys like us. No lectures, no BS. Just real solutions that protect our freedoms and help us take care of the people who matter. And honestly, I think Harris and Walz are the ones to make that happen. End of the day, you're your own man. It's your call. But if anyone gives you crap about it, tell them it's none of their damn business.
All right, what do you think, Robert?
I think they're doing a great job now, because what they're doing is appealing directly to the American people and directly to people who are normally a weakness for them. The fact that Kamala Harris, who ran in 2020 as being one of the most progressive members of that race, and now to see her appealing to middle-class white male voters, seeing her appealing to veterans, to military voters, it shows that the Democratic Party is a big enough tent that they can bring in everybody from Bernie Sanders to Dick Cheney to be on the same side of the things versus the MAGA movement, which is continuing to shrink and just is MAGA or nothing. That if you're not part of that, you're a rhino. We don't want you part of that. I think that shows how big the American body politic can be when they unite around one candidate.
Well, I think what you also are seeing, Jolanda, a far more aggressive campaign from Vice President Kamala Harris at the top of the ticket than you saw when Biden was at the top of the ticket. You look at the press releases they sent out. You look at how they are very quick with their viral ads. I mean, they're not wasting time trying to be above the fray. They're saying, oh, you go low? Yeah, we're going to punch you down there, too.
Well, you know, again, I don't agree with Michelle Obama. When you go low, I'm going to get in the gutter. One. Two, it also shows that she's not conceding white men. Three, I believe that the ad that we just looked at shows where white men are saying, hey, we ain't all like Donald Trump. We actually support y'all. So I like the ad. I think it's helpful. And I think that when you have an aggressive racist like Donald Trump, we need an aggressive black fighting, smart ass woman fighting back and hitting hard and letting people know that she can go with the best of them and even the craziest of them, and she can still handle our business.
And Michael, we're actually seeing that play out in North Carolina. Some polling shows she's pulling anywhere from 40 to 45% of the white vote. I've been trying to explain to people, Donald Trump got 53% of the white female vote. If she's able to take that from 53 to 50, that's the election.
Yeah, absolutely. Governor Roy Cooper said that North Carolina is definitely winnable. These are fantastic ads coming from the Lincoln Project and Vote Vets, things like this. One ad that I want to see the campaign do, and it may come from a super PAC, may come from the campaign, is attacking this ad where you have a former Minneapolis police officer who shows Minneapolis burning after the killing of George Floyd. And he says that Kamala Harris supported the people who were setting the police department on fire, and she supported defunding the police and things like this. And what he doesn't talk about is the January 6, 2021 insurrection that Donald Trump incited and sent to those domestic terrorists to the U.S. Capitol, and they assaulted 140 police officers. OK, so I want to see an ad that really refutes this nonsense out here, because this is one of the lies that's being told. She never supported really defund the police, maybe some aspects, but never supported defund the police. She co-wrote the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, but the Fraternal Order of Police supported the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act as well. So that's one ad that I want to see coming.
You talked about what you want to actually see from these PACs. I mean, part of the issue we are still seeing is we're seeing these PACs not step up. Guys, pull up Guy Cecil's tweet that we had the other day showing what they've been spending on digital ads. Let me tell y'all something. Go to my iPad. I have sent emails to these 4 PACs 10 days ago, at least 5 emails. No, and I specifically have been asking them for their black plan. No response to any of the emails. You got Future Forward, American Bridge 21st Century, sitting on millions and millions of dollars. The DSCC, the DCCC. I sent emails to the House Majority PAC, the Senate Majority PAC. The House Majority PAC responded to my email. The Senate Majority PAC has not. And I made it perfectly clear. I'm going to call these folks out. We pulled this up earlier. This is cash on hand. You see right here, House Majority PAC, $80 million. The DCCC, $92 million. Senate Majority PAC, $90 million. That's Chuck Schumer. Democracy PAC, I had a great conversation with them. They are doing some work, and they are funding various initiatives regarding African Americans doing great. The SEIU PAC, $50 million. They're going to be spending the money going door to door. But look at American Bridge. $32 million. Fair Shake PAC, that's dealing with crypto, $90 million. I need to pull up what Future Forward has. But again, folks, I don't know what the hell they're spending it on. And let me tell you something. American Bridge 21st Century, perfect example. You go to their website, they got a Google phone number. Like you can't even, Future Forward, you can't even call them. You can't even call them. And listen, they've got some black consultants who they have been working with. And when I say no response, I literally mean no response. And so Chauncey McLean with the Future Forward, when are you going to respond to an email? When are you going to explain to black-owned media, what is your black plan? Who are y'all using black-owned media? Are y'all investing in groups on the ground? Are you doing independent expenditures? Y'all, I've been asking all of these questions, and when I say they don't respond at all. At all. And so I've sent email after email after email. You've got Christy Roberts, who leads the DSCC, nothing, no response. You've got Brad Baychok with American Bridge, no response whatsoever. And so, matter of fact, so let me, there's a brother with one of the PACs. I don't know why he can't respond. I've sent, multiple emails. Let me see. Hold on one second. Let me pull this up. Because, and again, my whole point is we're now 40 days out. What are you doing? Adisu Demisi, ADDISU, last name DEMISSIE. Hey, bruh, you need to respond to an email as well. So I'm going to keep calling y'all out every day until y'all answer, where's the money for black folks? Let's go live to Douglas, Arizona. Vice President Kamala Harris is now at the podium.
Courage. Please, can we applaud? Extraordinary courage. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please have a seat, everyone. Thank you. It's good to be back in Arizona. It is good to be back in Arizona. Thank you all. Thank you so very much. Thank you. 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 I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. I just wanted for a moment to speak about Teresa. We had some time together backstage, and I think that in moments of crisis, such as the fentanyl crisis, there are people who, through their suffering and their pain, rise with courage in such a selfless way to be a voice for others, with the anticipation and the hope and the hard work of hoping that their story will be the reason other people don't have that story. And you sharing your story about Jacob and your advocacy on why we have to stop this scourge is so incredibly important. And again, I applaud Teresa, and I know we all do. And our need to stop this issue is one of the reasons that we are all here together today. I also want to thank the extraordinary elected officials who are here. Senator Mark Kelly, who came with me. He and his extraordinary wife, Gabby Giffords, traveled with me from Washington, D.C. to be here. And Senator Kelly has been talking with me for quite some time about the importance of this visit. And so I thank you in front of all of our friends for your work. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Attorney General Chris Mays, who just tore up the floor. She is, one of, I'm going to talk a bit about it in a minute, but some of the work that I have done in my career as Attorney General, and watching her do the work that she has done as Attorney General really does emphasize the importance of having the right leader at the right time, in the right place, and that's who she is. Mayor Hewish, I thank you for the warm welcome. We've spent some time together. You've shared with me the needs of your community, and I thank you for your leadership as well. And to all the elected and community leaders here today, thank you for taking the time out of your busy lives to be here this afternoon. Before I begin, I do want to say a few words about Hurricane Helene. I spoke this morning with our FEMA Administrator, Chris Well, and President Biden and I, of course, will continue to monitor the situation closely. We have mobilized more than 1,500 federal personnel to support those communities that have been impacted. We have food, water, and generators that are ready for deployment. And we are working to restore power for millions of people who currently are experiencing outages. And I just want to stress, and for the press that is here, to those who are watching, the storm continues to be dangerous and deadly. and lives have been lost, and the risk of flooding still remains high. So I continue to urge everyone to please continue to follow guidance from your local officials until we get past this moment. So thank you all. And now I'll speak about, in particular, the people who are here today and why we are gathered here together today. So Arizona, I think you all know, and this is why you are here, there are consequential issues at stake in this election. And one is the security of our border. The United States is a sovereign nation, and I believe we have a duty to set rules at our border and to enforce them. And I take that responsibility very seriously. We are also a nation of immigrants. The United States has been enriched by generations of people who have come from every corner of the world to contribute to our country and to become part of the American story. And so we must reform our immigration system to ensure that it works in an orderly way, that it is humane, and that it makes our country stronger. So I've just come from visiting the border and the port of entry in Douglas. I spoke with dedicated agents from Border Patrol and Customs officers who every day see the overflow of commercial traffic through the port. These men and women who work there and at other places along our southern border help keep our nation secure. And they need more resources to do their jobs, which is why we have and are in the process of investing $500 million to modernize and expand the port of entry here in Douglas. And why last December I helped raise the rate of overtime pay for border agents, and also why I strongly supported the comprehensive border security bill. Written last year, as you know, by a bipartisan group of senators, including one of the most conservative members of the United States Congress. That bill would have hired 1,500 more border agents and officers. It would have paid for 100 inspection machines to detect fentanyl that is killing tens of thousands of Americans every year. It would have allowed us to more quickly and effectively remove those who come here illegally, and it would have increased the number of immigration judges and asylum officers. It was the strongest border security bill we have seen in decades. It was endorsed by the Border Patrol Union, and it should be in effect today, producing results in real time right now for our country. But Donald Trump tanked it. He picked up the phone and called some friends in Congress and said, stop the bill. Because, you see, he prefers to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And the American people deserve a president who cares more about border security than playing political games and their personal political future. And so even though Donald Trump tried to sabotage the border security bill, it is my pledge to you that as President of the United States, I will bring it back up and proudly sign it into law. And let me say, the issue of border security is not a new issue to me. I was Attorney General of a border state for 2 terms. I saw the violence and chaos that transnational criminal organizations cause, and the heartbreak and loss from the spread of their illicit drugs. I walked through tunnels that traffickers used to smuggle contraband into the United States. I've seen tunnels with walls as smooth as the walls of your living room, complete with lighting and air conditioning, making very clear that it is about an enterprise that is making a whole lot of money in the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. And my knowledge on how they work comes from the fact that I have prosecuted transnational criminal organizations who traffic in guns, drugs, and human beings. My team and I broke up a heroin trafficking ring in the Bay Area with ties to Mexican cartels. We took down a gang working with the Sinaloa cartel to traffic methamphetamine into the United States. We seized millions of dollars worth of cocaine from the Guadalajara cartel and broke up a drug trafficking operation including pill mills and so-called recovery centers that were pushing opioids with deadly results. As Attorney General of California, it was 10 years ago that I brought a bipartisan group of American attorneys general and led that group to travel to Mexico City to meet with Mexican attorneys general to address this issue and, in particular, to increase intelligence sharing on gang activity, all of which allowed us to prosecute more human traffickers. And I started, as Attorney General, the first comprehensive report in the state of California analyzing transnational criminal organizations and the threats they pose to public safety and to the economy. So stopping transnational criminal organizations and strengthening our border is not new to me, and it is a long-standing priority of mine. I have done that work, and I will continue to treat it as a priority when I am elected President of the United States. And it is my pledge to you, understanding how solutions get formed, that I will reach across the aisle and I will embrace common sense approaches and new technologies to get the job done. Because I know transnational gangs coming across the border, trafficking in guns, drugs, and human beings could care less who somebody voted for in the last election. They could care less. They've got one goal in mind. And it is therefore critically important that anybody who calls themselves a leader would work with other leaders for common sense solutions, understanding the pain and the suffering that Americans are experiencing if we don't work together to fix these problems. And look, transnational gangs, one of the things I know about them, they are always innovating. So to disrupt them, we must do the same. And that means, again, working together in real time, grounded on finding common sense approaches, not just about some rhetoric at a rally, but actually doing the work of fixing a problem. And as President, I won't only bring back the border security bill that Donald Trump tanked. I will do more to secure our border. To reduce illegal border crossings, I will take further action to keep the border closed between ports of entry. Those who cross our borders unlawfully will be apprehended and removed and barred from re-entering for 5 years. We will pursue more severe criminal charges against repeat violators. And if someone does not make an asylum request at a legal point of entry and instead crosses our border unlawfully, they will be barred from receiving asylum. While we understand that many people are desperate to migrate to the United States, our system must be orderly and secure. And that is my goal. And that is my goal. Securing our border also means addressing the flow of fentanyl into our communities. Fentanyl is a scourge on our country. The nature of it as a drug is such that it is highly addictive and it is highly lethal. So much so that using it one time only can be fatal. I have met far too many families, parents, loved ones who have lost a family member, a child, to fentanyl. And their grief is heartbreaking. And the devastation caused by fentanyl is being felt from rural communities to big cities. It's impacting communities across our country, regardless of where they are geographically, politically, or any other demographic you choose to talk about. It's a scourge in our country, and we have to take it seriously. And as president, I will make it a top priority to disrupt the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States. And I know everyone here understands that most of the fentanyl in America comes from two cartels based in Mexico. Most often, they are smuggling it through vehicles at legal ports of entry, like the one I visited today. The fact is, border officers don't have enough resources and are only able to search a fraction of the vehicles that pass through their checkpoints. This is unacceptable. They need the resources to do their jobs. And as we could have done with that border security bill, I will surge support to law enforcement agencies on the front lines, more personnel, more training, and more technology, including 100 new inspection systems that can detect fentanyl hidden in vehicles. And we will make sure that our ports of entry, including airports and seaports, have additional state-of-the-art technology to detect fentanyl and the chemical tools used to make it. I will also double the resources for the Department of Justice to extradite and prosecute transnational criminal organizations and the cartels. Yes. I will ensure that we target the entire global fentanyl supply chain because we must materially and sustainably disrupt the flow of illicit fentanyl coming into our country. My approach takes into account also that the precursor chemicals used to make fentanyl are by and large made in China and then shipped to Mexican cartels and trafficked right here into the United States. Our administration demanded that China crack down on the companies that make those chemicals, and it has started to happen. But they need to do more. And as president, I will hold them to their commitment to significantly reduce the flow of precursor chemicals coming from China. And all of this to say, we must tackle this issue from every angle, because our highest charge must be to protect the lives of our people. It must be to understand the pain and to have the courage to know that solutions are at hand if we focus on fixing a problem instead of running on a problem. And on this issue, writ large, we must ensure that our country remains strong and competitive, which includes fixing our broken immigration system. And let me be clear, I reject the false choice. I reject the false choice that suggests we must either choose between securing our border or creating a system of immigration that is safe, orderly, and humane. We can and we must do both. must do both. And we need clear legal pathways for people seeking to come into our country. And we must make our current system work better. For example, it can take years for asylum claims to be decided. Well, this is a problem we can solve, including by hiring more asylum officers and expanding processing centers in people's home countries. And as president, I will work with Congress to create, at long last, a pathway to citizenship for hardworking immigrants who have been here for years. For years. And deserve to have a system that works. I also have in mind our dreamers. I have met with so many of our dreamers throughout my career. They who have grown up in the United States, were educated here, pay taxes here, serve in our military, and contribute to our communities every day. They are American in every way. But still, they do not have an earned pathway to citizenship. And this problem has gone unsolved at this point now for decades. The same goes for farm workers, who ensure that we have food on our tables and who sustain our agricultural industry. And they, too, have been in legal limbo for years because politicians have refused to come together to fix our broken immigration system. Well, as president, I will put politics aside to fix our immigration system and find solutions to problems which have persisted for far too long. For far too long, we have all known this is not working as it can and as it should. And so, as I said at the beginning, these issues are highly consequential for our nation. And the contrast in this election is clear. It is a choice between common sense solutions and the same old political games. In the 4 years that Donald Trump was president, he did nothing to fix our broken immigration system. He did not solve the shortage of immigration judges. He did not solve the shortage of border agents. He did not create lawful pathways into our nation. He did nothing to address an outdated asylum system and did not work with other governments in our hemisphere to deal with what clearly is also a regional challenge. As overdoses went up during his presidency, he fought to slash funding for the fight against fentanyl. And what did he do instead? Well, let's talk about that. He separated families. He ripped toddlers out of their mothers' arms, put children in cages, and tried to end protections for dreamers. He made the challenges at the border worse. And he is still fanning the flames of fear and division. And let me be clear, that is not the work of a leader. That is not the work of a leader. And that is, in fact, I think we all believe, an abdication of leadership. And so, on behalf of all across our nation who want to see these problems solved, I say we cannot accept Donald Trump's failure to lead. We should not permit scapegoating instead of solutions. And let's see what's happening. Let's not permit scapegoating instead of solutions, or rhetoric instead of results. As your president, I will protect our nation's sovereignty, secure our border, and work to fix our broken system of immigration. And I will partner with Democrats, Republicans, and independents to do it. Arizona, it is time for us to turn the page on the ugly battles that have characterized our politics. And it is time to move forward together to achieve real solutions that make our country stronger. And I know we can get this done. I know we have the will. I know we have the courage. I know the solutions are at hand, and I know we are ready. And so with all of that, I say thank you. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
All right, folks, that was Vice President Kamala Harris speaking in Arizona. I want to quickly go to my panel to close this out. Robert, what you continue to see her do is remind people that it was Donald Trump who killed a bipartisan bill to deal with the border. Republicans, Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma, he also said they killed it. They owned up to it. And so that she is just pounding and pounding, pounding. So basically saying, don't give me this crap where you care about the border when you killed the bill because you said I need to run on it.
You're absolutely correct. This is a clear attempt to attract those swing voters, those immigration voters. After the issue of abortion, immigration is very high on every poll on what people care about: immigration, economy, individual liberty. So she's trying to put to rest some of those fears that people have about being, quote unquote, soft on immigration. It was a very hawkish speech. It was very much a return to Obama 2008 almost immigration policies. And I think she tried to come off very forcefully on this. She could have actually dug even deeper and talked about the fact that for the last 25 years, Republicans have killed every single immigration bill. You can talk about the fact that Donald Trump had to pay $1.5 million for hiring illegal immigrants to work at his resorts. So I think Democrats are going to go on the offensive on immigration this last 30-plus days until Election Day and take away one of Donald Trump's primary strengths.
Absolutely. Jelana, you're there in Texas. You're a Texas state representative. You've got Governor Greg Abbott, who's wasted billions of dollars of taxpayer money in Texas. He spent millions flying migrants across the country as well. And all these folks, they talk loud. But the reality is they don't want to really confront the problem. And he stands solidly with Donald Trump by ignoring that particular bill. Shame on all of them. You're on mute.
Well, I'm sorry. What I thought the vice president did brilliantly was she explained how she understands about immigration, how she knows how they smuggle people and products into the country, and how she can fix it, because if you don't know what the problem is, then you can't fix it. She reminded us that when he was president, he had these same problems and fentanyl deaths went up. I know that fentanyl is a really big problem, especially in these border states, especially with people who don't look like us. I'll just say that. So I think she's hitting on voters that she needs to get on her side and take from Donald Trump. I thought she was brilliant when she talked about the broken asylum system. Now, you know, and I'll say this quickly, you know this, Roland, you had Judge Hughes on here when they were trying to take her off the ballot here in Houston. And she's a former immigration judge. So I actually called her while I was listening to the vice president and said, hey, how long does it take for the asylum cases? She said it took 6 to 10 years from the time you come into this country until the time you actually see a judge. So you're here without asylum and you're working, and then you could be kicked out and you've had kids born here. She came up with common sense ideas to fix that system, and I thought Vice President Harris did that. So I think she was strong. I think she spoke exactly to the issues that she needs to speak to in Arizona. And I think that she's going to be a pleasant surprise for us. She's going to do remarkably well in Arizona.
What you're dealing with, Michael, here, this is a photo that she posted on her page here. I'm on my way back to Arizona for official briefings on the latest work to secure the southern border and operations to stop the flow of illegal fentanyl into our country. Michael, Republicans keep talking about fentanyl, but you heard her say it. She laid out how it actually is coming into the country. You know, so all these people, they love, oh, no, it's killing. She's like, no, this is actually how it's coming in. And you've had these massive fentanyl drug busts, and they go, see, it's failing. And they're like, no, actually, if it's a bust, it's actually working.
Right. Absolutely. Well, she knows what she's talking about because she was State's Attorney General for the state of California, going after transnational organizations like this. This is a real change in strategy for Democrats because usually what was perceived as a weakness, they would not take on head on like this. So she's doing the right thing from the border and then laying out her plan as well. And immigration, partly because of Trump blocking the border bill, okay, it has become a major issue in this 2024 election. And if he becomes president and he wants to try to deport 11 million, 15 million undocumented immigrants, whatever million he wants to put on it, whatever number, is going to arrest economic growth in this country and spur inflation and probably bring about a recession as well. OK, and as I say always, if you want to bring down undocumented immigrants and undocumented immigration to this country, stop eating foods you did not grow yourself. And a lot of people don't want to do that, okay? Because this is excellent what she's doing. She needs to keep this up.
All right, then, Jolanda and Michael, we appreciate it. Thank Robert as well
for everything. Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can register for the online history classes that I teach. We deal with thousands of years of history. I teach 2 online history classes, Saturdays 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. and Sundays 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Saturdays is Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. And then on Sundays, Black resistance movements from Christopher Columbus to the Haitian Revolution and the Black Power movement, 1492 to 1968. So we have classes coming up this weekend. Classes on sale, $80. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch it any time. We have a bundle pack of courses. You can register for both classes also. I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles, video clips. Even after the course is over with, you still have access to the full class. You can go back and watch it anytime. And then Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding transatlantic slave trade. That meets this weekend also. We have the course outline here that you can download as well. So it gives you a lesson plan for each class session. There's about 100 articles that we reference. The first class is about 200 slides, 15 books that we reference. You don't have to buy any of the books to follow along in class. Click right here to download the lesson plan also, okay? I show you it's a very visual class, so I show you the excerpts of the books right on the screen, all right? Okay, so the content is PG-13. You can use this with your children as well. I don't do a lot of cursing. It's not overly vulgar or anything like that. It's nothing like that, okay?